Happy Monday, team. Hello to everyone. I'm Gianni Mattici, today's host. I'm joined by regular co-host, Mr. Dean Jones. We've got good news and we've got bad news. The bad news is we all just spunked our free hit in a rubbish game week. But the good news is we've got 2 weeks off now. Hurrah! We don't have to think about FPL because I think we need it. Dean, how you doing, mate?
No, not great, mate. I mean, so I haven't looked at my score yet, mate. I literally don't know what I got. I know it's not good because I've seen the scores and the scorers, but I don't know how bad it was, and I fear it could be like awful. So,
did you have any players score or assist or keep clean sheets? Because
I don't think so.
I had no attacking returns. I know that in my team.
I don't mean
Off top of your head, then no goals or
my
assists.
head. I don't think I've got any points.
Just appearance points. Did you have Regulon? You got -3.
No, I'm going to open up the app.
I had Regulon as well.
Here we go. Here we go, people. For the first time, here we go. I got 19 points.
Oh, snap.
That is it. Have you got 19 as well? Yeah. Oh, my days.
On a free hit, yeah?
Yeah, look at this rubbish. Mate, everyone's got a 2, apart from 3 players who have got a 1. That's it.
I mean, through appearance points alone, we should have got 22 points. Oh, plus captaincy, we should have got 24 points just off appearance. And we actually didn't even get that.
Anthony Robinson on my bench with 11 points.
Oh, you actually called him out as the only Fulham player you were thinking about picking.
And I was like, I got him into my squad after the show. I was like, yes, I do want him. I'll figure out tomorrow how he fits in. And I just couldn't make a decision and just left it. It's so dumb. He had the best game of his life.
Did he
Anthony Robinson, mate, no word of a lie. It was one of the best left back performances I've ever seen in my life. He was brilliant.
Better than Spinazzola in the Euros.
Mate, he was so good that, like, if you were a scout watching him, even if you were from like Real Madrid, you would be signing him this morning. He was that good. Like, going forwards, defending, he had it all. British says whoever got 30-ish had Muniz.
Yeah, pretty much. Guys in the chat, let us know your scores. CH took a -4 for Regulon, who got -3.
Honestly, so do you know what? I'm sick of this game. And a mate of mine, I said to him, he's good at the game. And I said to him, oh, what have you done your free hit? He said, I'm not doing one. I'm like, what? Have you got enough players? He went, no, I've got 5 players. He said, I don't see any value in bringing in 6 more players beyond these 5 that would actually make that free hit worth it. I'm saving it for a double game week, and I've still used up all my chips, and I think I could be in a better position here than anyone left. And I was like, mate, that is brave going with 5. Mate, I bet he got more. I'm gonna have a look actually. See how
I bet even if he didn't, he still probably would have got 15. So it's like, yeah, those extra 4 points aren't worth the chip.
He got 12. He got 12.
Yeah,
he had 5 players and he got 12 points.
You'd rather 12 than 19 on free hit, wouldn't you?
Of course you would, man. Like, absolute killer, really. And do you know what it's made me think? Is like, on my wild card, I'm going wild. I'm not doing what everyone else is doing because it's stupid. At this point, it's stupid. Like, I've just picked a free hit team, which was pretty templatey.
Yeah.
What is my overall rank now? Have I gone?
You got a green arrow according to CH. And actually, 19 would have got you a green arrow because I got a green arrow.
Yeah, it's a small one. I'm still in the 800,000. But yeah, it's...
Let's see the misery then. Let's see your team on screen because you've obviously just checked it for the first time. But we've got a graphic with both our teams. We've also got a graphic with potential doubles and single game weeks. So we'll talk about chip strategy coming up. So this is your miserable...
These losers 11.
Robinson was even your first defender sub. Oh no, and Doughty went off after 45, didn't he?
Mate, do you know where it all started? Was when as soon as Burnley scored a penalty.
I thought if Flecken had saved that, would have been a nightmare because loads went Flecken.
Yeah, as soon as that happened, and so the Brentford clean sheet was gone for the defender, and I was like, okay. And then I saw, I think just after that, maybe Luton went 1-0 down.
Yeah, Forest scored. Yeah,
Forest scored. So I was in a pub. Me and Dylan were on our on the way up to Craven Cottage, and we stopped. There's a pub opposite Wimbledon Station, and I was like, right, grab him there. I can have one drink when I'm with him, and he'll sit there and he'll have his fruit shoot and his packet of crisps. So he sits there, and they had the rugby on one screen, so kind of watching that. Then Soccer Saturday, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, this is going to be one of those days where everything you predicted is going the other way, and that's literally what happened. Like Fulham battered Tottenham, battered them, like 3-0 was unjust.
Yeah.
At least 4-0.
We thought it was 4 at one point, didn't we?
It was 4 at one point. Tottenham probably should have scored, to be fair. Maybe I should say 4-1, but it's just a mad run of results throughout the weekend, even if you include the FA Cup, where you get like Coventry beating Wolves, Man United beating Liverpool, Chelsea beating Leicester. I think my wild card, I'm just going to go random. I'm going to make sure I've got a couple of must-haves, and then just pick all of those players that the other people have contemplated but not gone for.
Not at the Minerals.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go for it. It makes this show more interesting. And
when are you going to wildcard then? We'll see Ben Collins' planner. Okay, so you are going to go 30.
I think so.
What does your team look like for 30? Because I reckon that your team looks all right in 30. But in 31...
now I want to do this thing. I just want a different team now.
Because we're going to have to do a wildcard special show when you wildcard. So we need a couple of days notice.
Well, you're not doing it next week, are you?
No.
Yeah, so I might do it next week.
What does your team look like, though? I bet you've got loads of good players playing at home next week.
I have got a lot playing at home. Neto in goal.
Good.
At the moment, I've got 3 injured players on the bench, so I'll have to leave all those out for now. But so 3 injuries are De Bruyne, Hwang, and Gordon. I'd have a back 5. I'd see if we can stick it up here. See if we can see it. Can you read it or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that is quite heavy. Might have to go full screen actually. Might have to take your graphic off. Yeah. Okay. You got Watkins, Haaland, Solanke, Gross, Son. Mate, you don't need to wildcard.
I don't. No, you're right. But I want to.
I'll talk you through some potential wildcard.
I just don't want to do it the same week as you anyway.
Yeah,
let's definitely not wildcard in the same week.
All right. Well, I've got a plan for you. We'll see that plan later in the show, and I will tell you when I'm wildcarding and when I think I'll give you a couple of options as when I think you might to be different. But that's all right. Let's say, look, 19 points for Dean. He didn't have a single player return, but still got 19 points, which is the same as me, who did have a player return, and I had a better captain guy because I had Son who got 4 points, not Tony who got 2. Yet we still got the same points because I had -3 Regulon. I also had more single pointers in there, I think.
He's had a good goalie, 5 points.
But I did get a return from Martinez. I actually had almost more points on my bench. I had 16 points on my bench versus 19 in my 11. How great with captain. How mental is that?
Oh my God.
My bench got Vitinho got 5, Gibbs White got 7, Ariola got 3 and Rosev 1. So yeah, that's 16 versus 19. A miserable week for me. Martinez, though, in a way, saved my game week. It got me a green arrow. And he only made 3 saves. So he only got 1 save point, but he's still got 2 bonus. That's why I bought Martinez. He does well. And people said to me, oh, Ariola got 4 saves, conceded the same amount of goals, but got no bonus. Why is that? And I was like, oh, dude, I need more than my 140 characters on Twitter to tell you why Martinez outperformed Ariola. But we know the BPS is 32 metrics. And for goalkeepers, it ain't just saves. Things like pass completion actually matters. So yeah, Emmy came through there. Loved a bit of 5 points for Emmy. But 19, I actually was quite sort of celebratory. I was happy with that in the end, which is shocking because it's such a terrible week.
Yeah, I mean,
Heather had 27 on her bench. Oh,
I mean, is this the worst week you've ever known? Has there been a worse week?
No, I don't think. I can't remember a lower scoring game week. Like, what was the average this week?
12.
If we got green arrows on
12 points.
We needed goals in those 4 games, and I thought Nottingham Forest Luton was going to have goals. I thought Spurs would score. I thought Villa would score more than 1, and these teams just didn't. The teams, Villa and Spurs, the 2 most reliable attacks out the 8, scored a goal between them, and that was why.
And the thing is, like, you're waiting to see who the goal scorers are, and you're like, Zaniolo.
Yeah.
Like, that really annoyed me. way more than it should.
Yeah. Where was Bailey and Bowen?
So I left out. Well, who got the assist? Diaby. Why? Why is it Diaby?
When Luton score, where's Morris and Doughty? Oh no, it's like a centre back getting an assist.
Yes, the Tony birthday bounce. Oh my goodness!
So Tony must have got a booking, did he, to finish on 1 point? Was it a birthday yellow card for Tony, or did he come off pre-60? I didn't watch the game.
He got yellow card. Yeah, he played 90 minutes and got a yellow card.
Amazing.
It was a shocker. Really revved him up for that game, didn't I? Hyped him up to be like, he's in the England squad. He's playing against one of the worst teams in the league. He's playing great. And do you know what would have been even better opportunity for him to do well? Because it looks like Harry Kane is injured now for the next England game.
Oh yeah.
So he's got to have a fitness test. He's picked up an injury for Bayern Munich at the weekend, and so Kane probably won't play for England against Brazil by the sound of it. So it'll be Watkins or Tony starting.
Wow, what an opportunity that is for them.
Absolutely. Who would you pick? I know you don't care about England, but who would you pick?
Personally, because of how England play, I'd be picking Tony because he's more like Kane. But if you're going off form and the guy who's playing brilliant football needs rewarding, you should probably go Watkins. And I think Watkins is more likely to feature in the Euros than Tony off the bench. Therefore, maybe give Watkins minutes. But if I was a smarter manager that went off like identity, then it would be Tony. But it'll go Watkins, wouldn't he? Because Watkins is more likely to be first sub off in the Euros. First attack.
You'd assume so. Yeah, you'd assume that's what he'll do. We'll have to see how bad this knock is that he's got on his ankle. But the other thing is, Solanke probably felt hard done by in the first place. If Kane has to leave the squad, maybe he brings Solanke and goes straight into the team, but I can't see it. It'd be a bit harsh. FPL Freddy says Brentford should have had a penalty near the end. A player rugby tackled and wasn't even looking at the ball.
Wow. I mean, a Tony Penn would have had something for us at least. I love in the chat, Cole, with it being sarcastic. Firstly, British 87 says, woohoo. Like, a few went there, fair play. Well done, 87. But Colm says, who's Luke Berry? Again, like, why is Luke Berry scoring goals?
Mate, honestly, it said Berry on the thing. I was like, I literally was like, who? What? Like, I don't understand what's going on today. Who is Berry? And I was literally going through my head, like, I had to look at my phone. I was like, what have I missed here?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Just an absolute shocker. And congratulations to anyone that didn't free hit this week. You've had it off. You've had the time in your life.
And you're going to have some juicy doubles. We'll look at them in a sec. The good thing, however, if you did free hit like me and Dean, you've probably got a good-looking Game Week 30 team because you had prepped for Game Week 28, which also you probably had a good week in Game Week 28, like Bournemouth players coming up for you. So, yes, it was a bad week in isolation, but the overall strategy for those on free hit, they've probably had good green arrows around it because they committed to a free hit in 29. That's how I'm looking at it. Glass half full and all that. But let's just look at we've got to dive into it. And we're going to answer questions. We're going to go over some teams. But this is hot off the press, right? This is Ben Crellin, who is the go-to for fixture predictors in terms of he slots in all the potential spaces where a team could have a double game week. So he'll look at a schedule and go, Arsenal have got Champions League football, therefore they can't double there, they can't double there, they can't double there. So these are the only weeks or one of 2 weeks they could put in their double fixture. So pretty much Game Week 34 and 37 are those weeks. Now, Suleiman says, thank you so much for your super chat. When to free hit? Doesn't have a wild card. So again, straight away, when we look at this, now it is worth noting, 34 and 37 are going to have lots of doubles. It's difficult to say with any assurance who will absolutely double, like confirmed is yellow, right? So we know in 37 there will be some double game weeks there in yellow. That are confirmed ones. We know Man City will double in 37 because they can't in 34. We know Newcastle, Man United, that'll be the same. These are the teams in the FA Cup. We know because they're in the FA Cup semis, they can't put a double fixture in the Premier League from in 34. So Chelsea as well. So with that in mind, you can either free hit in 34 or 37. For me, I still look at 37 and go, it'll be a bench boost week because I'll be wildcarding in, say, 35. So my plan is to get to 34. I'm going to be buying players that I think will double in 34 now. I'll still have quite a few doublers in 34. And then I'll wildcard in 35 and I'll be picking all the players that I know will double in 37 and have good fixtures.
Okay.
So that's but there are so many opportunities to wildcard. Like you could wildcard in 33 or 34 and go, I'm going to wildcard and get loads of doublers in straight away. And by 33, the doubles will be confirmed for 34 in the next, couple of weeks. So you'll have loads of notice. You might want to wildcard in 37. Personally, 30. I like 35 because it dead ends in 34. But to be different, as you've said, Dean, you might even look at a 36 and go, oh, there could be a couple of doubles in there. It does say unlikely for 36, but 35, for example, you could get a Brighton double and a Chelsea double. You could, there's options.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know who I'd pick on those teams is the
Chelsea
problem.
and Brighton, yeah.
Chelsea and Brighton, yeah, not exactly reliable any of them, are they, apart from Cole Palmer?
Played Sterling yesterday. Did you see any of the Chelsea game? He was unbelievably bad.
I mean, I like Raheem Sterling a lot. I think I've met him a few times. I think he's a great bloke, and I think he's been a really good player. I do not know what's happened to the guy. I can't believe he wasn't taken off to the 86th minute.
Took Mudryk off before him. He was playing quite well.
I mean, the penalty was bad. The free kick miss was the most wild kick I've ever seen in my life. The assist was quite good, to be fair. He settled himself down, but he's done at Chelsea as far as I can see. I don't think they're going to want him anymore. I don't think the fans have ever really taken to him anyway, to be honest.
The 1-on-1 miss.
Oh, he was 1-on-1. He just had a bad game. It's just not the club for him. Sometimes he's just not a fit, and he just hasn't fitted at Chelsea at all.
Where would he go, though? There's no buyer for Sterling now on his wages, is there?
Well, Saudi Arabia are going to try and buy him anyway. That was already on the cards.
Really?
They tried to get him last year and he wasn't interested, and Chelsea weren't really interested. But this year, I'm told there will be an offer from Saudi Arabia. I don't think he really fancies going down that route, to be honest. He's only 29, and I think he's got quite a young family and stuff. And I don't think that's what he wants. But, there could be other opportunities in Europe, potentially elsewhere in the Premier League. I think if it becomes clear that he is available for transfer, I think there'll still be plenty of opportunity for Sterling. If he was to be realistic about what he's going to earn in his next move, you either go, if you want to chase money, then go to Saudi. But if you just want to be playing football, then you're going to have to take a hit on your wages and just go and play for a good Premier League team. But it's a tough one that Sterling finds himself at now, because when you've been playing at the top for all your career, even think breaking through at Liverpool, making that transfer, Man City, winning the league and everything else that came with it, but, being an England regulated, he's out of the England setup now. He's moved to Chelsea and it's gone horribly wrong. The decline is set in, and even at 29 now, it's difficult to see him getting back to where he was.
Yeah, he's so bad. And yeah, Cole Palmer, I just have no idea how the penalty ends up in Sterling's hands. I don't put it on Palmer. He's a kid in this team, but how is Gallagher as captain or whoever not intervening and be like, Palmer scored 5 and 5 pens? And it's 1-0. It's a tight game. What are you doing? Sterling, we've seen this before. He tried. Palmer's first penalty of those 5 came from Sterling trying to take the ball off him and him saying, no, it's mine. And he scored that goal, and then the momentum carried. And then to see him take the free kick too, it's like, the main man in this team is Palmer. And he, again, what an assist at the end. Took his goal well. Yeah. Cole Palmer, by the way, if you don't have him in your team, get him ASAP. Next up is Burnley, then United, then Sheffield United, then Everton. And then we could have, we'll have a single game in 34, but we'll have a double in 35, very likely. Chelsea are owed a couple of doubles. So
Zodiac says Sterling would be good at West Ham since Paqueta might be sold. Yeah, obviously not like for like, but I could see West Ham going for somebody like Sterling.
I know the money as well, don't they?
They want more English, homegrown type players for next season as well. I'm not sure they could have. Don't know what they would be willing to pay him, but yeah, they have looked to pay decent wages in recent times, and they've got Calvin Phillips at the moment. He won't be joining. Oxlane says Sterling always tries to take the penalty when he wins it. That's actually quite a good point. He does. He'll always grab the ball after he's won a pen and just see if he can take it. So that's a good one.
I like that West Ham shout though, because for David Moyes, who loves playing with fast forwards and he likes being pretty counter heavy, Sterling could suit him.
Yeah, if he's there.
Good point.
That could happen. Obviously, West Ham linked with Harry Maguire again today as well, but I don't think Man United are going to sell him. But yeah, Zodiac says Palmer's in 6 games this season both delivered a goal and an assist in the same game. He's pretty impressive for a youngster in a new club. But yeah, I mean, it's incredible what Palmer's done since going to Chelsea. But he's one of the only reliable guys in that team, and unfortunately for him, he's in a team that is often low on confidence, and that's probably had an effect on him being even more prolific in terms of his output so far. But Chelsea do score goals, mate. Like, whatever we think of this team at the moment, and they have obviously been spells in this season where Chelsea just were not scoring goals. You got 3 against Leeds, you got 2 against Brentford, you got 3 against Newcastle, you got 4 against Leicester. So whatever issues you do have at the moment, ahead of a home fixture against Burnley, Chelsea are scoring.
Yeah, I like that. And they are, like, I definitely think it's an attack we can back. And with some doubles on the horizon, but good single game week fixtures, Palmer +1, there is an option there. And like Jackson played really well again yesterday, and Poch does love Jackson.
He did play well, yeah.
When he plays him central, he looks good. When he's played him wide left and he's looked good. Like, Jackson is nailed in this team, and there is a why not a differential shout. One guy I want to talk about in terms of a make weight when we look at this fixture list is many of us are going to look at 30 and go, let's get Mo Salah, because he'll feel differential in 30. And those that wildcard in 31 will get him in. But when we look at Liverpool's fixtures there in the middle, Brighton at home, Sheffield United at home, Man United away, Crystal Palace at home, and then a likely double, like Salah and Darwin, both I want in my team. Now, to get players like this, we need to make compromises. And I wonder if Ollie Watkins can be one of those compromises. And that's purely driven by the fixtures, because clearly Watkins has been amazing this season. Maybe we keep him for that Wolves at home fixture, but Man City away, then Brentford, then Arsenal away, then Bournemouth, then Chelsea. And they've still got to play Liverpool at home before the end of the season. Like, Villa's run ain't pretty for a 9 million forward. What do you think, Dean?
Yeah, that is true. It's not, but yeah, he's expensive. I still think I would stay with him. Yeah, I think I would. The Liverpool factor is difficult. I mean, I think, they've obviously lost in the FA Cup yesterday, and that's a shock. But I think when you think about the team that Jurgen Klopp played in Europe the other day, it seemed unnecessarily strong. And I think in hindsight, he might be wondering why he did that, especially once this one goes to extra time, because, it just felt all a bit bizarre, really. But just in terms of Liverpool and what they've got coming up, they've got a spell where it'll be interesting to see how they do focus on Europe, because they've got this quarterfinal now against Atalanta, and that comes the week after an away match at Man United. Now, obviously, Liverpool are going to be looking for revenge in that match.
Yeah.
But for Ten Hag, right, if he's beaten Liverpool once, and if he can even draw that match to stop Liverpool from winning the league, he probably claims the job for next season, to be fair, if you can come up with another master plan. I did actually think that Ten Hag was much, much better tactically yesterday. I think that my expectation in extra time was that Man United would just sit off, get deeper and deeper, become more and more passive. Liverpool would start a pile on, and the goals would come. And I was actually quite impressed with the fact that United kind of pushed 4 into the middle, 3 up front, and they were pressing pretty intensely. And then when they have the breakaway, you've got the pace of Garnacho and Diallo to make the most of opportunities. Now, I was actually really impressed with the way that United actually managed to pull that off. And I think that it's not the result that gives Ten Hag hope for Man United and staying there as the manager. It's the fact that he put himself in that situation by allowing that moment to come about. And that's what I think Ineos will be intrigued by, is that, okay, we were competitive here against Liverpool. This wasn't a freak result where we just nicked a last-minute goal. we actually stayed in this game for 120 minutes. There was ups and downs in it. We showed character that got through it, but then also it was tactics that helped make sure that they came out on the right side of the result. Sean says, what about Bruno at centre-back at the end? He was brilliant. Yeah, he did pretty well, to be fair, didn't he? But I think that was part of the tactic too, as you saw that the players at the back looking for those out balls. And I think that was part of the tactic, like looking at who could get those fast guys out of there to open up some space against a Liverpool defence that, again, well, you see Diallo go head-to-head with Conor Bradley. It was a hard pass to take in his stride, and he still manages to throw Bradley off balance a little bit and stick it away. So really interesting that Man United have come out on top of a game like that. Off court, 249 watching. Do drop a like. Hope all is well. Thank you. Appreciate the £2, mate, and the message. Yeah, please do like and subscribe. Saya says United has shown more desire. Liverpool pathetic in attack at times. Yeah, Nunes has got a fair bit of stick.
I thought he played all right, Darwin. Like a couple of assists
today.
Darwin just always gets it. People just don't like him because he's got a rubbish haircut. But yeah. I used to get that all the time with that. Nice bloke when you get to know me. Don't judge a book by its cover.
I think a quadruple was always extremely unlikely, wasn't it? And people love to talk about these things once we get beyond Christmas and they're plausible. But the chances are you're going to fall short somewhere. And it'd be interesting to know what Liverpool fans would have preferred, to be honest, the Europa League or the FA Cup, because it's kind of the decision that's been made in terms of the way that he's gone heavy in the Europa game, even though they were clearly going to go through. And I think because Klopp hasn't won that,
wasn't it?
Well, Klopp
wasn't
hasn't won
weird
it.
One.
Oh, very
it was
weird,
so big in the Europa because it was a given. It was a given that tie after the first leg.
You try and get minutes and confidence and goals into some players, I guess, but yeah, it just felt a bit.
Players like Darwin, who've been injured so much, could have done with a bit of a rest. I found, I don't think Gakpo bench Darwin in that one. We'll come off the ticker because there's so much to digest there. But in brief, there's loads of Chai, damn Chai. If you want to jump on, we got half an hour, so feel free to. I DM'd Chai yesterday and he said he was free, and I said, come join us if you fancy it.
Yeah.
And I forgot to send him the link.
Oh, it'd be great. He's a Tottenham fan, isn't he?
To tell you, he is a Tottenham fan.
Brilliant. Get him on.
Right,
about Fulham.
Let us know in the chat if you want to join us for the next half an hour, and I'll DM you the link. So yeah, where were we, Dean?
Well, I was going to say, actually, there's two comments here, both about Man United, which we'll finish off Man United's little section about while Chai decides if he's coming on. Sean says Garnacho is on fire. 4.9 million seems like a real steal going for the end of the season. And then Stephen says, is Rasmus a must-have with double coming up? Rasmus Højlund changes so much about Man United. It really does. And having him as the focal point in that team, allowing Rashford to play properly out wide, Garnacho goes out to the right. I think Garnacho would still rather be on the left, but whatever. Going out to the right, so be it. Either flank, I like Garnacho, to be honest. But I think that the strongest team that Man United could put out, I think those are good assets to have. I think that
Garnacho especially is so cheap.
Yeah. What's Højlund?
7. That's the problem. It's 7 versus Garnacho at 5. But United attack showing promise in general. Garnacho's been getting a ton of points on people's benches of late. And I noticed yesterday that you're right, Rashford played well, but seeing them in extra time and Garnacho still running his socks off at 120 minutes, I was like, whoa, for a kid, your work ethic is pretty impressive.
Yeah, definitely. Chai's had a big St. Patrick's Day by the sound of things. So he's in bed drinking some Lucozade or something, I'd imagine. I think the real reason is he's hiding because he's embarrassed about Fulham 3, Tottenham 0. We'll talk about that soon one day when he comes out of the woods again.
He got a Son signed shirt for his birthday. I saw he opened it live on his stream. He sent it to me, so he was chuffed with that. But he did, like you, Captain Tony, because he said Son's his favourite player, but he said he can't see Son doing well against Fulham.
I said that, and he didn't get a look in. Mate. Really barely got a look in the Son. He was very frustrated figure.
How do we take learnings from that? Because does he just need to be playing against teams with higher lines? So when he's playing as a number 9, so he's got space to gallop into, and Fulham didn't give him that, or is it?
Yeah,
Is
and I
it more
think
than
the
that?
service was restricted. Fulham did an amazing job on Tottenham's midfield, and in the wide areas we were really strong as well. I think it was just an afternoon when he didn't get the sort of service and space that he needed. And once you have the combination of those two things gone, then this is why I said before the game week, like Son doesn't do well against Tottenham, and obviously he doesn't do well against Fulham, and obviously different versions of Fulham that he's played over time. But at the moment, our centre back pairing is extremely strong, and he didn't get looking, and neither did James Maddison, who is just a poor Tom Kearney. FPL Gaz just woke up here with a time difference. Hang on, Dean. I've only got Robinson because of you, and you benched him. I'm on 42 points after week wildcard 29, thanks purely to Fulham. As I
That's
have
amazing,
Muniz
though.
too. Well done, mate. Well done.
That's what we're here for. That's what we do. That's what Dean does. Love
And this
that.
is what I was talking about, Gaz, a minute ago. I said on my wild card, I need to actually be wild. I can't just go with the flow and worry about what everyone else is doing. Because even with Robinson, I brought him in. I still didn't actually put him into my team. And to see 11 points on the bench is painful, because that would have got me a really good green arrow to have had Robinson in the team.
That'd be
And
massive.
Robinson and Muniz are the best two Fulham assets you could own going forward. And honestly, I wouldn't really worry even about who Fulham are playing. I think that you can stick with it. I mean, we've got Sheffield United and Nottingham Forest as Fulham's next two games, so you're good there anyway. Newcastle at home, great fixture.
Yeah.
West Ham away, okay, fine. Liverpool at home, even Liverpool at home. Robinson and Muniz are pretty good owns, because if Fulham are going to do anything, and okay, we'll probably concede in that game. But if we get a goal, there's a high chance it's coming from Robinson down the left that pulls the ball back to someone. So,
mate, I'm probably going to sell Watkins to get Salah, because it's the only way of getting Salah.
Yeah.
And I need to go down to a budget forward. Like, I was thinking by now Muniz would have been a thing that would flash by and we don't want him any longer. And I was looking at Mateta, because I think Palace have got a double. Mateta's 4.9. Muniz is like 4.6 million. Like, I'm pretty sure I'll be buying him. But with Jimenez back, how do you see that working? Because you're not going to drop a Muniz that's scoring goals. But if he has I guess it's dependent on game state. If you're playing badly, then he could come off for Jimenez. Or if you're playing badly, maybe a bit like the other week when Brozier came on, it was like, no, you will just go two up top for the last half an hour. But if Muniz goes a couple of games without scoring a goal, then does he come out and Jimenez comes in? Or does Jimenez come in because he's the bigger name on the bigger money? I don't know. How do you see that playing out?
I'll be honest, I had overlooked the fact that Muniz is only 22.
Right.
And so until recently, I was always like, okay, so he had a great month or 6 weeks. But if you analyse all the performances and data before that point, since he's arrived at Fulham and he's been out on loan, he hasn't looked like a very good player. But if he was 20 and 21 and learning English football, then actually he would have needed time to bed in, and I should have given him more benefit of the doubt. And maybe I saw an interview with him the other day on the Fulham website, and he was talking about how hard he's worked. He's like, honestly, I have worked hard, really, really hard to get to make this work. And his all-round play is so much improved. His knack for getting in Mitrovic-like situations in front of goal has helped him endlessly. I mean, even the third goal, the way that he's there to poke it over the line, he'd have missed that a couple of months ago, or he wouldn't have quite been there. That was he's always seemed to be like a yard behind. Just it was good, and just literally was like him and Carlos Vinicius. They were both like Mitro light. They were both just lacking something.
Similar profile physically as well, weren't they? Like, this team has been built towards playing for a Mitro-style striker, which is why he's gone and signed players like Muniz or even Raul Jimenez, like even Vinicius. Like, Brozier probably isn't that profile, which again is a weird fit.
Yeah, and I don't even know if the manager wanted him, to be honest, because he's barely figured. Brozier, he's not on the bench on Saturday. I don't know if we'll see him again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Muniz.
Now is the time.
Now's the time. Yeah, I mean, there's a good body of evidence there now to show that this wasn't fluke.
Yeah, Yeah, I like that. I remember when you saying about his youth career was incredible. I remember when you saying about how hard he's worked. I remember a game. It must have been 3-4 months ago, and it was probably the first time I'd seen him. And he came off the bench and he got some minutes, or maybe he started the game. Was it Old Trafford? And he came off injured, and obviously he'd been out injured already. And I think he started crying. And I remember thinking, oh, this guy is so emotional. Like, he clearly cares so much about being given the opportunity to play Premier League football. He's there at Old Trafford or wherever it was.
Yeah.
And then he pulls up again. And he was only out for a few weeks, but I think he was worried it was more serious than it was. And when you see a player that devastated, you go, wow, we just see Premier League footballers sometimes as, they pick up their paycheck, they're privileged, they've been given silver spoon for so long as they've been in academies. But sometimes the stories are a little different. And I don't know Menezes' story, but let's assume he's Brazilian, right? So let's assume he's come from more humble beginnings and been given, played in Brazil and not been given those opportunities. And he gets it in the Premier League. He is going to work hard for it, and he's going to earn every pound. So fair play to him.
Yeah, he cried when he scored his first goal as well.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's an emotional lad. But he's done very well in terms of making this work for himself. A guy that was on loan at Middlesbrough last season.
2 goals
coming to this. 2 goals exactly at Middlesbrough, and now coming into it, he's now got 12 goals in total for Fulham. So he's doing well. Let's just run through a few comments. Colm said we needed a striker at the time Broja came in, but Muniz got his chance and took it. Absolutely, he did. Chris Marshall says my mate was in the last 1024 of the Irish Cup and lost 31-5 to a team with 8 players, including Muniz and Robinson. That is a bad week to be playing a cup game, isn't it? The cup should be on hold, actually, in weeks like that. They're a mess. Trini says, any views on Haaland out versus Arsenal to get Salah in game week 30? Can bring him back for game week 31.
Yeah, I guess you're wildcarding in 31 then, Trini, because to bring Haaland back, you might need that wildcard, or it's an additional 2 transfers. Yeah, you can definitely take Haaland out if it means... Look, given the choice, Salah or Haaland in 30 alone, you definitely want Salah at home to Brighton. It's a nice fixture. What I would say, though, is I watch Liverpool and I still think that Salah's clear and away, like the best player. I do wonder between the price difference of a Darwin and a Salah and go, can you cover some of those Salah points? Like, I think in terms of value, Darwin will have a better... Like, it might be Salah might get a goal or a couple more returns more than Darwin between now and the end of the season. I don't think it'll be a massive amount. I do wonder if you can still cover that attack with Darwin. Look, I want both. But in terms of value, Darwin still stands out for me. Like, you can sell Watkins, make a pretty penny and go down to a Darwin and still maybe find room for a Salah. So definitely Liverpool attack I've got my eyes on because the fixtures are so good. City, I don't know with Haaland. I know I'll want him in 31 if I sell him in 30. But yeah, that City-Arsenal game, I really struggle to kind of work out where I think it's going to go. Like, historically, between Arteta and Pep, they've been tight games. They've been low scoring. Like, when Liverpool play City, you just go, oh, there could be goals, both going at each other. And actually, we didn't see that with the 1-1. But Arsenal City is pretty cagey. So yeah, I think you can definitely go that. Like, we're not going to be captaining Haaland next week. And if you bring Salah in, you'll probably make him your captain.
Yeah.
But who do you think you'll captain in 30, Dean? If we look at the fixtures, like, I don't know. No one's... Because Saka and Haaland have been popular. Obviously, they play each other. We're not going to go there. I wonder, will people look at... is Cole Palmer captainable? I think he probably is, isn't he? Burnley at home, he's been pretty reliable, Cole Palmer.
Yeah, certainly a fixture you'd look to target, isn't it?
Son is another one.
Bournemouth home to Everton, Solanke captain. No one's doing that ever again.
Son and Palmer, I like.
Son, yeah. The thing is, Tottenham Luton, I don't know what to even expect really from it. Like, that game could be like 4-4. I don't know. Like, Luton are just going hammer and tongs for it at the moment, like most of the time, and they're always scoring. They're always conceding.
Tottenham,
I would have said it.
Forest.
Yeah, that's true, but still, I think. Largely, that's what happens.
And on the road as well, we know they're defensively pretty weak. Like, Spurs are going to score at home.
Spurs should score at home, yeah. I mean, Son's a great candidate, obviously, for the armband. If I don't wild card, then my hunch is that I'll go Son against Luton. Yeah.
Should we do a poll?
Yeah.
Should we poll Son, Palmer, Chuck Haaland in because that's just what people a lot will do.
I
And
guess
then maybe
Salah as well.
Salah.
If people are bringing him in.
And then, actually, no, don't chuck Haaland in. Let's also put Watkins in because Watkins does play Wolves at home, and Watkins has been the best asset in the game in terms of value this season, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Watkins, Son, Palmer, Salah.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a pretty split tie, you know.
Yeah, let's see what that comes in at. Make sure you vote, people, because we want to get a good gauge of what you're all thinking here going forward.
It's got to be someone you own as well. Don't all put Salah, but not knowing you're not going to own him. Like, who will you captain in 30?
Yeah, absolutely.
Meuniers against Sheffield United. A few in the chat saying, Dean.
I mean,
if you owned him, 7-7.
It's good form, isn't it? And that is a defence that does not like playing at home. So it's definitely got potential. I voted for Son. Make sure you all vote right now. Salah, Palmer, Watkins are the other options.
Palmer, you know.
I assume Salah wins this, but yeah, we'll see.
Although, will there be many Salah owners? I think he's... Oh, okay. Okay, you're all saying Salah, but are you going to own Salah? I don't think you're going to. Yeah, as Mark says, all these people own Salah? Question mark? Like, rubbish. The 50% of the chat own Salah.
Maybe they're all going to buy it. Maybe they're going to.
Yeah, maybe. And there are wild cards knocking around this week, I think, in 30, to be fair.
Yeah. I think that some people will be doing wild cards so they can do this, I think.
Yeah.
It's the only way back in for some people. So I think that does make some sense. Cantania says Luton played 3 times in just over a week with the double. And they looked tired. They'd obviously be more rested in 30. Good point. Yeah, international break means we're going to be looking at very different propositions.
They haven't got any internationals.
Yeah, they can have a proper rest. The Luton lads. Mohammed wants to know when a good time to wildcard is. Mohammed, we did a big section on this a bit earlier on in the show. We had the Ben Krellin spreadsheet up with a few different ideas, and me and G thinking slightly different things, I think, at this stage. So rewind a little, mate, and you'll be able to catch up on exactly what Gianni advises you to do on that. Stephen thinks Luton are dreadful defensively. Son is a great candidate. At the moment, Salah winning the vote, 49%. And then it's pretty close on second between Son and Palmer.
Yeah, that's fair. I think Son and Palmer being split. I'm surprised Watkins, Aston Villa Bozzy, of course, is going Watkins. I'm not surprised more aren't going to Watkins. Like, he has been outstanding. We'll do a poll in a minute. Or will you own Salah in game week 30? Yes or no? And I bet under 49% won't even own him. So let's see. Because I, with regret, I don't think I'm going to own him. So yeah, let's see. Sold Haaland for Tony. Nice, Sol. Yeah, we'll do another vote. So at the moment, it's looking like Son Palmer is going to be a pretty split vote. Palmer yesterday, like, goal and assist again. Like, I think with Chelsea versus Spurs in that one, yes, Spurs on paper should blow Luton away, but Spurs have been so hot and cold of late. If you get him on a good day, Son's the best captaincy option out there. If you get him on a bad day, he's not. And with Chelsea, if you get them on a bad day, I still feel like Cole Palmer gets points.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Yeah. And I still feel like Chelsea score on a bad day. I'm not sure Spurs always score on a bad day. Obviously, they didn't at the weekend.
Yeah. Chelsea, well, they haven't scored in a long time, but yeah, I'll take your point.
Chelsea feel more reliable than Spurs in terms of goals, which is very funny.
Yeah. How long will that last? Will you own Salah in game week 30? Yes, 75%.
Wow. Okay. Everyone must be wildcarding then, because I don't know how you're easily getting him.
They must be. Yes, towards 70 votes now, and that's the case. If you want to level that out, then go for it. I do want a fair gauge on this, but it does seem, beyond doubt, really. Everyone wants Salah in for this game week. What do you make of that fixture, Liverpool at home to Brighton? Do you think that is a shoe-in for points?
Again, Brighton are probably... I just said Spurs can be hot and cold. I would say the biggest example of that in the Premier League, hot and cold team, you do not know 1 week to the next, is Brighton. Like, Brighton went to Kenilworth Road and lost 4-0 not long ago. And then the week after, they battered someone 4-0.
Yeah.
Like, so actually, I don't put that... It's a nice fixture in theory, but if Brighton went and got a 1-1 draw or even won, I wouldn't be surprised. So for me, the week after, where Salah plays, I think, Sheffield United, sure. But Liverpool-Brighton could go either way. Like, it's no given.
Yeah, that's... Obviously, I was going to wildcard this game week, and now I might not. But one of the reasons was to get Salah. And yeah, I'm not sure how necessary that is. And I'm happy with Son as captain.
Yeah.
Generally, my team does look okay as it stands. I mean, we've still got international break to go. Like, our teams could be absolutely blown apart by injuries. Who knows? But yeah, let's see. Paolo says, currently on a wild card, I've got Salah, Son, Foden, Saka, Palmer, Haaland, Muniz. But I have to go Darwin instead of Watkins.
Yeah.
Defense has almost no money, but it's not bad. Thoughts?
Yeah, I like it. And I'd be happy going Darwin instead of Watkins. What I would say is, I know your defense has no money, but getting double Arsenal defense would be lovely. So if you can, you might have to compromise on one of those attacking players. I don't know, to be able to get a Saliba and a Gabriel alongside Saka. Let's just look at that fixture ticker from Ben again. It will show you the Arsenal fixtures, but also in terms of wildcarding, sure, if it works for your team now because you've dead ended in 29, I get it. For someone like Dean, though, I wonder if you've got... Just look at the amount of doubles we're going to get in 34 and 37. If you can wildcard around those doubles to maximize the amount of doublers you have, either in 33 to get 34 out or in 35, 36 for your 37, I think it could be you're going to have 2 outstanding weeks rather than if you wildcard now, you're in fear of just having one big week in 34 or in 37.
No, you are
what
right.
chips
Yeah.
you got.
No, it is a fair point. Like, now you see this updated version and where you're at, it would feel a little unnecessary, especially as I can get a reasonably good team out for the next week at least. So maybe I'll push mine back to 33. Zubin says, thoughts on free hit 30 to avoid the City, Arsenal and Luton players and load up on Fulham, Liverpool and Spurs.
I mean, look, Fulham, I think we can definitely jump on this week if you're looking at a free hit. Like, I like that. You could definitely go double, if not triple Fulham. Would you go triple Liverpool at home to Brighton? I'm not sure. Maybe double. But Spurs again, triple Spurs. Yeah, why not? So don't hate it. Look, Zubin, in theory, it's not a great idea to free hit in a normal game week like 30. But for all those like me and Dean that have just used their free hit at what made sense, the week that made sense, it completely went against us. So look, thinking outside the box, I'm sure you'll do better with your free hit than I did with mine.
Yeah, that's fair. Gareth says Man United will get double game weeks in the future due to FA Cup games. Is there much? Yeah, is there much more to shake out then from that? Because obviously they've got the semis.
So that's what this schedule pretty. So look at Man United, for example, and in the same breath, let's compare Man City because they're both next to each other in the ticker. They're easy to see. 2/3 of the way down, we can see the green in 34. That is saying it will 100% be a single game week fixture. They can't have a double because of the FA Cup. So what we know is they will definitely double pretty much in 37 because it's the only slot it can drop into. So the teams that are involved in the semis and their opponents can't double in 34, or certainly the teams involved in the semis, like Man United, but they will in 37. So yeah, we know in 34, if Man United had lost that game yesterday, they would double in 34 and Liverpool wouldn't. But now it's the other way around. Liverpool probably will double in 34, not in 37, and United the other way around.
Yeah. I'm assuming that 34, is that the week? Yeah, Liverpool, Fulham. Yeah. I was looking at that earlier on and thinking that could be a very, very interesting game. Fulham, honestly, mate, we're doing really well against big teams this season, especially at home. So we might be the kingmakers this season. We've got Man City and Liverpool to come, and Fulham are going to decide who wins the league. Watch this space. I'll let you know who does it. Right, let's run through a few more. We've got 10 minutes left. Make sure you do get your questions in and give us a like if you haven't already. Zohab says, I might use all my chips in game weeks 36, 37 and 38. Wildcard, bench boost, free hit.
Oh, I don't mind that. Free hit in game week 38 can be loads of fun. Final day of the season. Who's got something to play for? Who hasn't? I've even seen people wildcard in 38 and use it like a free hit, which is quite a bit of fun. I see someone mentions Ben White in the chat. Khalid, Ben White's a good differential. He absolutely is. And Dean tweeted a couple of days ago, maybe it was last week, Ben White is the best scoring defender in the league at the moment. And I am buying another Arsenal defender. Fact. They have a double in 34. They've got good fixtures to that point, and they are the best defense in the league. Rather than go Saliba, pretty much the same money, I think I'm going to go Ben White. Like, the assist threat is there, and with him not being called up for England or wanting to be called up from England. He gets a nice little break. What do you make of Ben White and the England situation, by the way, Dean? Because we had heard the rumours of what happened in the summer. He doesn't get on with Steve Holland and the row, and he was sent home early. He's got a bit of a reputation inside football circles as being someone that's not the easiest to get on with. So maybe that's got something to do with it. But yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I spoke to my friend who works at Arsenal on the day, and I said, what should my reading of this be? Should I be slating the guy? Like, whatever. He said, look, don't slate him. He said, honestly, his words were, he said, put it this way. If you were to meet every Arsenal player, he said, I think you would come away from it. If you had to pick like who you thought you would be mates with, he said, I think you'd really like Ben White. He said, he's not who everybody thinks he is.
Yeah.
He said, and he doesn't even hate football like everybody else thinks he does. Like, he might not watch it loads when he's at home, but like he loves playing it. He loves playing at Arsenal. But there are parts, he didn't say this, but it seems like there are parts of the football life that he perhaps doesn't like. Right. And so I don't know. Not everybody likes being in that bubble. Life in the England camp probably isn't always that much fun, I reckon. Especially if you're not with he's not with the in crowd. Again, I'm just speculating here, but I don't know. I'm not going to make any judgment on it, apart from the fact that what I see on the pitch is somebody who's very important to Arsenal and has a load of FPL points. And I think he's somebody that we should be lining up. Your daughter doesn't like Ben White.
Clearly not. Clearly not. She knows we're off to the pub in 10 minutes, and I think she's probably hungry.
She's ready for a pint.
She's ready for lunch. I said to my wife, like, we're going to the pub at 2 just for lunch quickly because there's no food in the house. And I was like, don't feed Gaia until we go to the pub, because then she'll actually sit still in the pub.
True. Yeah.
So, and I reckon she's hungry.
She's hungry. That's the end of the show.
Yeah, Ben White. Yeah, let's move on from that. I'll if he's likely to be our mate outside, then I'm all for him.
I have to. When I see him, I'm gonna have to ask him a bit more about what he meant by that. So I'll wait to see like what it is about Ben White that his personality that would really I would like. It was only on text messaging, so it was a bit hard to go into detail.
When I did the Arsenal thing last season, Dean, I went to the Arsenal training ground and I knew I was meeting 3 of the players to do an interaction with them. Ben White was meant to be one of the 3 and he didn't turn up. But I don't know, like he wouldn't have. Of course, after training, players want to go home. But guess who the replacement was? I got Georgie. I was like,
yeah,
perfect. I was like, that's fine. To be fair, I think it was meant to be Ben White, Odegaard, and one other, and Odegaard didn't show up either. So yeah, I guess it happens all the time.
Wow.
When they said Jorginho, I was like, yeah, that'll do. Yeah.
Lovely.
Who is the nicest bloke you will ever meet. Watkins to Isak would be an insane move. I mean, look, Isak's a great pickup because he'll score goals, he'll play games. I guess my question with Isak is always injuries, but he ain't injured till he's injured. So yeah, why not? That saves you money as well. Maybe if that allows a Salah. To get Salah, we're all going to have to compromise on someone. And I do feel like Watkins is going to be the make weight for many. I don't know. You're not selling a Saka or a Foden or a Haaland, I don't think. So something has to give.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Yeah, difficult. Sokan, thoughts on Muniz? What a legend. I can't believe how much people get asked. I really did not think Muniz would ever be this man. Sokan, stick with Muniz. Unbelievable form. He's loving life. I think he was on the verge of a Brazil call-up, to be honest.
Jesus.
I think he was very close, especially because the games are I think they got England and Spain, I think it is.
And Richarlison's out.
So the fact that they were here, I'm pretty sure he was quite close to a call-up this time around. So
that's unbelievable for the young lad. He was on loan at Middlesbrough last season, got 2 goals in 17 games, and he's on the cusp of the Brazil squad 6 months later.
Sign him up. FPL Madridista has got rid of Haaland. Seems like a choice that a few people are going to make for the next game week, doesn't it? And it doesn't feel as scary at the moment to get rid of Haaland, does it? There's just something that doesn't quite click like it did for Haaland. But the fear should be that could always click back into gear and he scores 3-4 goals.
the ceiling seems to be limited at the moment.
It
And
does,
I thought
yeah.
that and then saw him score, 4 against Luton in the FA Cup. But in the Premier League, when against tougher opposition, when there's a title to be won, we might not quite see the free-flowing Man City that goes and wins 4-5 nils. Like, we'll get a lot of one goal wins.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think so. Chai says, Dean, so you might wildcard. Chai, my plan was to free hit this week and wildcard next week. And my free hit, well, ended up above average, but obviously wasn't great. And now I'm looking at the fixtures and what we've just gone through. I think my team is okay for the next game week, and I won't actually wildcard as planned, and I'll save it for 33. That is my new plan, is a game week 33 wildcard.
Yeah, I think with free hits, like Ali last year, and to an extent Chai this year, Ali who won FPL last year and Chai who's having a stormer, both went with the approach of, I'm not actually planning when I'm going to wildcard. When my team looks bad, I'm just going to click the button. And that's what Ali did last year. And I think, Dean, that'll probably end up being like a useful strategy for you. It's like, actually, it doesn't look good this week. Also, moving forward, I know I want that player. Maybe I just hit the button.
Yeah, and typically, look, certainly before we started doing this show, I never had a plan of when I was going to use chips. Yeah. I would literally just get to a game week, look at my team, look at the fixtures, and be like, okay, I need to just go. And I have to admit, a lot of the time that did serve me pretty well. And sometimes I probably am guilty now of just looking too deep sometimes when the answers are staring you straight back in the face.
Breaking news, Dean. I've got some breaking news. Sorry to interrupt. Nottingham Forest received a 4-point deduction. So we knew it was likely, dropping them into relegation and 1 point of safety. That's according to the Guardian.
Okay, it's just right.
Yeah. So yeah, legit.
Okay, wow. So that shakes up the season a little bit then, doesn't it? So how does that?
Let's just look at Ben's ticker for Forest fixtures and how
that puts Forest in the relegation zone, doesn't it? Below Luton.
If you look at Forest fixtures, how tough is it for their running? Because they've been all right since Nuno came in. They've still got to play Fulham. They've still got to play Palace, Wolves, Sheffield United, and Burnley, and Everton. Okay, they've only really got, in terms of the big teams, Spurs and City left. And Chelsea doesn't really count. It's an all right run-in compared to Luton's run-in. Oh, they've got some tough away games. They've got to go to Spurs, Arsenal, and Man City. Oh, okay, Luton's fixtures are much worse.
Yeah, they've got a tough one.
Yeah,
this is a strange situation, isn't it? Where we got these teams at the bottom. Everton obviously got their points deduction reduced. Nottingham Forest knew that this decision was pending. And a 4-point deduction would mean that they are 18th and that Luton will take the spot that's just above them in the out of the relegation zone. And then Everton would be just above them and 3 points ahead. I mean, ridiculous, really, isn't it? How clubs are run and the implications that these decisions can have. Just in another story actually popped up on my timeline that says HMRC are in talks with Manchester United over potential unpaid tax could impact future spending budgets. It's like, oh my goodness, could people please just get a grip on this? Like, it's one thing me not being very good with money. It's a different thing for Man United and Nottingham Forest and Everton not to be very good with money.
No excuses. Well, we look forward to picking up this conversation and talking more about chip strategy wildcards probably next Monday, but the rest of the week we're going to be fairly quiet. We're going to take a little break now. It is the international break. Do stay tuned on CGA social on Twitter and Instagram. Follow Dean, follow me. But yeah, don't expect a video on Wednesday or Friday this week, but we will be back next week. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Before you leave though, subscribe. There's loads of lurkers. Just hit that subscribe button if you fancy it. Obviously, likes appreciated too. But we will see you this time next week. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.